morning, Dan and Amy. So how about this Trump endorsement? You never know. This is going to be strange. The singer, rapper, Azalea Banks. You know her?
Sure.
Yeah, you're not down with the kids like I am.
I'm not one of the cool kids. What does she sing?
Miss Banks took to Twitter over the weekend and tweeted, "I really want Donald Trump to win the election." She talked about her support for the a-hole GOP candidate over Hillary Clinton because Clinton, quote, talks to black people as if we're children or pets.
Wow.
How about that?
What's her name again?
Azalea Banks. Yeah,
I'm old school. I'm typing
You're
in.
going to iTunes?
Google Images.
Yeah.
I know who she is.
So, she goes, Trump's an a-hole, but he's not been groomed and programmed on some multicultural tip to do and say what the establishment wants him to. Trump just wants the USA to be lavish for all of us. I can, support that. I'm paraphrasing.
Thank you.
To keep it within FCC boundaries.
What else?
It's just kind of, it's just kind of interesting. I don't know. There's a lot of antagonism towards Hillary, and not a lot of enthusiasm. Now, there's a great deal of antagonism for Trump, but there's also enthusiasm for him, and I think that is important.
You know who his buffer is, his go-to guy? Ben Carson. He's meeting with Paul Ryan tomorrow before Donald Trump meets with Paul Ryan on Thursday.
Well, that's
just to find out,
that's probably
to see what kind of tone the meeting's going to take.
Well, that's probably good. And Ben Carson in between those two probably brings the kind of tone to a room temperature level, which is probably a good thing.
And he's in charge of vetting candidates for his VP nominee.
It's all right. Yeah. I like Ben Carson
I do too.
as a surrogate.
I trust him in that position.
All right, let's get more on this election. He's no Azalea Banks, but he is the executive editor of the Weekly Standard. He's Fred Barnes. He joins us now. Fred, thanks for joining us.
I'm glad to be here. I was listening to that endorsement. Now, I'll have to say, I've never heard of that woman, but she sure got it right.
About
exactly. Hillary treating them like a pet or children, treating African Americans that way. I think a lot feel that way, but she actually said it.
Yeah, so it's an encouraging note.
I'm waiting for Bob Dylan to decide who he's going to back this year.
Sure. Yeah, we have the artists of our era. I understand. So where are you? Bill Kristol kind of was on some of the talkies over the weekend, still holding the flame for a third-party candidate, sort of, and where are you with Trump? Are you in the Paul Ryan camp of I want to try and get to support him, but I need some help, or are you still hashtag Never Trump?
Oh no, I've never been hashtag Never Trump. I'm, if anything, I'm hashtag Never Hillary, and that's why I'm probably more in Trump's camp than not. Just because of who he's running against, Hillary. I mean, my view is that Hillary would be a disaster for the country, for the Supreme Court, for the economy, for our foreign affairs, and just for the honesty of the office of the presidency. It would be a disaster. So Trump makes it hard for you. He makes it hard for a lot of conservatives to, one, say they're going to vote for him, and two, actually do it. But we'll see. I think more are going to turn that way if particularly if Trump can rope in Paul Ryan, and the way to do it is just to agree with him on some things, and so they can reconcile their two agendas, which are hardly identical at the moment.
Well, speaking of those two, Donald Trump now saying that he might not have Paul Ryan be the chairman of the Republican convention. Is that just a game that he's playing before they have their big meeting on Thursday, or do you think he's serious?
I assume it is. I mean, that's just the way he is. You're fired. That's his great line. Hey, I'll fire you if you don't come around. I think most of us, well, I won't say most of us, me, I'm not quite used to that style that Trump has. If some guy, you're going to have a meeting with him and you want to reconcile with him, you don't send out, you don't unleash your dogs on him to trash him. As, Sarah Palin says, his Ryan's political career is over, and the press secretary for Trump says he's not fit to be speaker and things like that. That's not the normal way of trying to reach an agreement with somebody.
No, and when Trump was on the talk shows of the weekend, he essentially distinguished those people that he enjoys trashing, like Jeb and Lindsey Graham, whose endorsements he's indifferent about, it's from Paul Ryan, and said, no, Paul Ryan's different, and thus this meeting. And so do you think it would be a mistake if Trump didn't come to some kind of accord with Paul Ryan and didn't have him there as the convention chair?
It would be a tremendous mistake on Trump's behalf. Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately he seems to think, now maybe he's changing, but at the moment he seems to think that uniting the party means that everybody comes to him and he sits on the throne and they come and kiss the ring. Clearly, Paul Ryan is not going to do that, and and lots of others aren't either. And look, Ryan represents a lot of people. He represents what I call at least a congressional wing of the party, and of course, Trump has already captured the presidential wing. But Republicans in Congress, a lot of people in the conservative movement, sort of the business community, certainly all the party ideological and policy elites, and the think tanks in Washington and so on. He represents those. Paul Ryan's been around for a while. I met him when he was 22. He's 46 now, and so he has a lot of admirers and allies all over the landscape, but particularly in Washington, but not just in Washington. And I think Trump needs to take that into account.
Now, recently we've been hearing news about who would be better for women. Would it be Donald Trump? Would it be Hillary Clinton? Donald Trump calling Hillary an enabler because of Bill's philanthropic, or not
Philandering.
Philandering, excuse me. And what do you think? Who would be better for women?
I don't even know what that means, better for women.
Yes.
I mean, my wife doesn't like Hillary, and she doesn't like Trump. But and most women, I shouldn't try to speak for most women because I can't. But
please.
Well, aren't women monolithic? All women think the same thing?
At least some of the women I know don't look at it on candidates as, is he good for me as a woman? They have the same, they look at a candidate the same way all of us do, that, well, no, look, is this somebody, is he going to, conservative who's going to reestablish America's influence in the world? Is he going to build up the military? Is he going to get the economy out of this 2% or less growth rut? And so on. Looks at the things that we all do and not. Is he, who's good for me as a woman? I mean, I don't look at candidates as who's good for me as a man.
Speaking of someone who's not good for a woman, Brian Pagliano, not good for Hillary Clinton. This is the IT staffer that set up her private server, who's got a immunity deal with the feds, and can't find any emails from his State Department time, his time at the State Department. Brian Pagliano, his emails have gone missing. That's a curious development.
Deja vu. We've certainly seen this a lot before, and one of the things that happens is that they show up later, and we'll see if they do. But
after they've been properly scrubbed.
Yeah, well, maybe so, but the fact that probably so. The fact is, if he's gotten immunity and is helping the investigation, they may not need the emails.
But when is she going to be interviewed by the FBI?
Or maybe she won't be, and the FBI needs to bring their this investigation to a conclusion and present whatever they're going to present to DOJ.
I'm not sure what or when they're going to, but as Hillary said, it's just a security review. That's why they have more than 100 FBI agents on it to do with this security review.
Very comprehensive.
She still says that, and she knows perfectly well that that's not true. The FBI does not do security reviews. They do criminal investigations. They don't do security reviews. She keeps saying that. It's just another one of the untruths that she utters, and that one all the time. I mean, that's not something you can say, well, she just sort of fudging it. She's not fudging it. She's saying something that's absolutely not true.
And do you expect anything remarkable to happen in the primaries today, West Virginia, Nebraska, other than coal miners voting against Hillary?
Well, they're going to vote against her. I mean, yeah, West Virginia. It's interesting to see states flip. When it flipped when I guess about 10 or 12 years ago. But West Virginia used to be a solid Democratic state. Now it's a pretty solid Republican state. I think it first turned on social issues, and now the whole economy, particularly the coal mining economy, being so crushed by Obama and Hillary. Hillary made another mistake, another lie, when she had said, my policies, a lot of coal mines are going to close.
Uh-oh.
Sorry for the dog.
Dogs are barking.
He's hungry. Take me out, Fred.
I fed them already.
Sure you did.
3 dogs here. I get up at the crack of dawn to feed them.
All right, Fred Barnes, executive editor at the Weekly Standard, weeklystandard.com. Fred, thanks always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to talk to you.
Oh, he's the best.
Quickly, Matthew in Hammond, Indiana. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Dan, I think I was disappointed yesterday to hear a little bit of a softening in your stance against Trump. I know you've gotten some crap from callers wanting you to ease up on him, and I really hope that you, as a conservative, that you do. I mean, you really hold the fort for us, never Trumpers.
All right. And why are you a never Trumper, Matthew?
I don't believe in him. He's a fraud. I don't. To be honest, the fact that he is where he's at makes me kind of queasy. I know that supposedly an expanded electorate is a good thing, but after this year, I don't agree with that. And I really want him and his uneducated minions to go away. The only way that's going to happen is for him to get his butt whooped in November. And people like you, who at your core, in your heart, you completely disagree with everything about him. And, you're familiar with the Hamilton rule, and I 100% support that.
All right. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Matthew. Appreciate it.
Gotta get him out.